A good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the evening news on ABS, and I am Ifunanya Amafili. Our headlines for this evening. The state government debunks rumors of plans to sell Awka Stadium. More stakeholders urged electorate to vote APGA candidates. Nigerian army warns of serious consequences against electoral fraud. And on the foreign scene, Thailand court disbands opposition party over nomination of Princess Banavadi for Prime Minister. And we'll start with the news in details. The Anambra state government has debunked as fake news the rumors sponsored by the opposition that it plans to sell off the Awka Stadium to a private developer. According to the government statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adinoba, there is an over 500 million naira budget for the transformation of Awka Stadium and two others in the state into modern sporting facilities in this year's Appropriation Act, contrary to the rumors from an opposition contractor notorious for his role in the infamous siphoning of Anambra money from source through irrevocable standing payment order ISPOs. Commissioner Adinoba said the contractor spreading the rumored sale is working with a major opposition political party desperate to have a foothold in the state after this weekend's election, regretting that the standing order under PDP administration in the state led to closure of schools for 1 year, as well as stifling of all government projects. Mr. Adinoba said, far from planning to sell the Awka Sports Stadium, the Anambra state government has developed a comprehensive plan to develop it into a modern stadium befitting the status of Awka as a modern state capital, adding that the budget is a public document, a copy of which could easily be obtained from any of the relevant government agencies. The statement further enjoined Indian Anambras to disregard false rumors like the above meant to create mass disaffection in the state, as they are sponsored by those not happy with the APGA state government for not bringing back the irrevocable standing payment orders and under unconscionable schemes through which the state was milked dry for years, leaving it with no money to pay teachers and civil servants as well as pensioners. It made it clear that no false propaganda can make the government and the people of the state choose to return to the days which the locusts consumed, as the APGA government would rather continue to work for the benefits of the masses. The Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adinoba, has called on APGA faithfuls to come out en masse and vote for the flag bearers in all the constituencies of the state come this Saturday. Mr. Adinoba made the call during an ABS audience participatory radio program, Viewpoints. The Commissioner said that there is need to support the government in piloting the affairs of the state by giving him credible candidates who can help him in enacting and passing into law policies that will catapult the state further into desired level of progress. He said that Anambra has been existing since the past 5 years peacefully. The Commissioner added that Anambra is an APGA state and should remain so, which he said can be achieved when all the APGA candidates are voted for. Mr. Adinoba cautioned against those who would be promising them heaven on earth because of elections, only to turn their backs on the people when elected into power. In terms of workers' welfare, the Commissioner said that Anambra is known for its prompt payment of salaries, pension, and gratuity, adding that the peace and security apparatus of the state cannot be overemphasized. Communities in Oyi local government area have drummed support for the APGA candidates in the state for the Saturday's House of Assembly elections. They made the unanimous decision during a stakeholders meeting of members of all the political parties in the council area held at the palace of the traditional ruler of Umunya in Oyi council area, Igwe Chris Onyekweje. And our correspondent, Ngozi Obeleri, covered the meeting and now reports.
The meeting was convoked by Igwe Chris Onyeokwuluje as directed by Governor Willie Obiano, addressing the stakeholders drawn from the 5 communities that make up the council area, which are Obunike, Nteje, Okuzo, Nkwele, and Umunya. Igwe Onyeokwuluje said that the meeting was to appreciate Ndioyi for their support to his administration and for voting massively for APGA during the governorship election in the state. Igwe Onyeokwuluje added that the governor said that Ndioyi has been peaceful and very close to his heart, which is why he is counting on them to support his candidate for Oyi constituency this Saturday. He said that Governor Obiano's presence is felt in the area and will be more auspicious this year, as he said that most link roads in Oyi are captured for construction in this year's budget, advising them to support the APGA candidate Mr. Charles Obimma, who will help the governor continue the work he is doing without disturbance.
This is original original one. This is the House of Assembly. I never any fear to tell anybody that I know a boy, Muno Solum Quado, get near that person. Then I got local. Are we agreeing here?
Yes. The chief of staff to the governor, Chief Primus Odele, in a speech said that it is only in a peaceful atmosphere that development thrives, adding that if non-APGA candidates are elected, they may not give the governor needed support to work, as he said that such will dampen growth and development of the state.
Makana etu osu nwede n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria taa na Anambra State bụ fanwa kana agba first n'ife niile a na-eme.
On his part, the spiritual director and founder, Holy Ghost Adoration Ministries, Anambra State, Reverend Father Emmanuel Obimma, who used the occasion to pray for spiritual liberation and freedom from powers of darkness upon those present at the event, said, as a stakeholder in the state, he feels the heat of hardship on the people directly, which is why he wants all to encourage the governor by giving him those he will work with for the remaining 3 years plus. Reverend Father Obimma cautioned against covetousness and selfish interest, especially on the part of politicians, even as he frowned at attitude of some people who betrayed their brother just to make quick money.
I'm very, very happy. You know, from Oyi soil. I'm making an also police, Chineke, Onyan Kembo, making our executive governor, Anambra State, Willie Obiano, making Igwenya. And how to move our state forward. And also how we can benefit from the dividends of democracy.
Earlier, the Commissioner for Transport, Chief Uche Nokafo, highlighted various reasons why the APGA flag bearer in the area should be supported and pledged that when elected, the party's choice will not disappoint them. From Umunya, Oyi local government area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
Governor Willie Obiano has been applauded for his socio-economic blueprints contained in his pillars and enablers of development, culminating in the successes reckoned in security and economic infrastructures. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Local Government Liaison, Professor Ifeanyi Ike, who made this assertion, said the governor's effort has made Anambra a leading economic hub in Southeast. Professor Ike said the harmonious relationship between the executive and the legislature in Anambra State have been so cordial as majority of the House of Assembly members are of the same political ideology. He enjoined the Anambra electorate to vote APGA in the coming State Assembly elections for continued stability. Professor Ike said for continued administrative convenience, the APGA-led government requires majority of the APGA candidates to be returned to the House of Assembly for effective governance synergy. Governors of the Southeast Zone have been urged to ensure implementation of weighing allowance for journalists in their states. The National President, Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Chris Isiguzo, made the call during his visit to Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, in Awka. And our staff reporter, Njiteka Okoye, was at the meeting and now reports.
Comrade Isi Guzo, who described journalists as the voice of the voiceless, noted that they need to be taken care of and their interests protected. The NUJ National President, after visiting ABS Film Academy, ABS Digital Radio and Television Studios, expressed happiness over the quality of equipment at the studios, which he said are of international standard, and commended Governor Willie Obiano for being committed to the welfare of the staff. Speaking at the ABS Film Academy, where he was acquainted with the programs and classes of the academy, Comrade Isi Guzo advised the students not to joke with the opportunity and privilege given to them, but should take their studies serious to become somebody in life.
This is quite encouraging. It is about the only station I've visited. And when I say I've visited, that means I've visited so many of them in the country, not just in the southeast. So this is about the only station that I've seen an academy.
Conducting him round the studios, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the ABS, Chief Uchenwara, stated that Governor Obiano has given ABS a new face, and the staff of the establishment have been attending workshops and training to upgrade their skills. Chief Nwara commended the cordial relationship between Governor Obiano and workers, which has earned him the name the alert governor, and thanked Comrade Isi Guzo for the visit.
To just pay us a courtesy visit, so we thought we should bring him and show him some of the things we're doing here at the academy. So you have some special people in the building this afternoon, and I have to my left the national president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Chief Chris Isi Guzo. You're welcome to ABS.
Thank you very much.
The Anambra State NUJ Chairman, Comrade Emma Ifesnachi, accompanied by his secretary, Comrade Emma Udaga, Director News and Current Affairs Department of the ABS, Mr. Gabe Opaleze, and Head of Commentary Unit, Dr. Emeka Arinze, were also in attendance during the visit. In Oka, Njireka Okoye, ABS News.
Nigerian army warns of serious consequences against electoral fraud. And on the foreign scene, Thailand court disbands opposition party over nomination of Princess Banavadi for Prime Minister. We'll have more details on those stories when we return. Do stay with us.
Here is a public service announcement. Anambra State government cancels collection of levies and fees in all markets in Anambra State. This is to inform the public that Anambra State government has cancelled the collection of all forms of levies and fees in markets and streets in Anambra State. The cancellation will be in effect until 1st June 2019. The 3-month cancellation period is to enable government and leadership of the various markets to deliberate and agree on a better and more effective model of collecting fees and levies in the markets. The public is hereby also reminded that the ban on sales of emblem is still in force. Anybody caught violating this cancellation and ban on sales of emblem will be arrested and prosecuted. This is for the attention of market unions and their leadership, traders, security agencies, and the public. Announcer, Mr. C. Don Adenoba, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The military has warned political thugs, militaire, and those aiming to disrupt the polls to steer clear of the voting stations on Saturday. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Baratai, who issued the warning, also read out the rules of engagement for soldiers on electoral duties. He said that those working to achieve a premeditated result through rigging of the governorship and state assembly elections should perish the idea. The Army Chief cautioned officers against taking unlawful orders from politicians, no matter the standing of such politicians in the society. The military, he said, will be tough on those planning to rig and disrupt the polls. Besides, he said that those who killed 3 military personnel during the February 23rd presidential and National Assembly elections will be fished out and brought to justice. Moving over to the foreign scene, a top Thailand court has banned an opposition party for nominating the king's sister, Princess Uboratana Banavadi, as its candidate for Prime Minister ahead of the March 24th elections. Disqualifying the Thai Raskar Chart Party struck a blow to the opposition party's chances of winning the general elections and defeating parties allied to the military government that has ruled Thailand since a coup d'etat in 2014. The Constitutional Court has ruled to dissolve the party. Judge Twetkait Manakasnist said banning parties' executives from politics for a decade. Thai Raskar Chart is one of several parties loyal to overthrown former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra in an election that broadly pits his supporters against establishment parties, including one that has military leader Pairut Chang Ochar as its prime ministerial candidate. Moving over to sports, the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, NWF, is hopeful of eventually sending athletes to the 2019 African Senior Wrestling Championships in Tunisia later this month after receiving verbal commitment from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The NWF failed to register majority of the 20 athletes it intends to take the continental showpiece in Hamananet due to lack of funds as at 5th March, the deadline for entry into the competition. NWF President Daniel Igali revealed that after getting assurances from the Sports Ministry to sponsor the team to the African Championships, he will seek an extension to the registration deadline from the Tunisian Wrestling Federation. The NWF president also informed that as a result of the stringent financial situation, the NWF will only send 20 athletes to the competition. Now, don't forget that you can follow our news and programs on ABS from any part of the world simply by logging on to our website, which is www.absradiotv.com, or like us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, and follow us on our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube handle at ABS Radio Television. Before we end the news, we'll go through our headlines for this evening. The state government has debunked rumors of plans to sell Awka Stadium. More stakeholders have urged electorates to vote for APGA candidates. Nigeria's army has warned of serious consequences against electoral fraud. And on the foreign scene, Thailand court has disbanded opposition party over nomination of Princess Banavadi for Prime Minister. And with that, we'll wrap up the news this evening. Thanks for being with us. I am Ifunanya Amafili. Have a pleasant evening.